Ladies and gentlemen, my guest this evening is a spectacular talent from the great state of Pennsylvania. She spent her formative years entertaining audiences on stage in many musical theater productions. Her life took an extraordinary turn when one day she sang a song on Smule. She has thousands of devoted fans called writers, which is a play on her name, and her career is just going from strength to strength. Please help me welcome to the Eclectic Arts virtual studio, MARIAH BELGROD. Oh, MARIAH.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for having me, Mark. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Yeah, it's great seeing you. How are you doing today?
Good. You know, I'm doing as well as I can with the circumstances in the world, and I'm really happy to be included in this virtual tour and supporting Alice and you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And like I mentioned, one thing, or actually, I didn't mention it, you mentioned it, about what's going on in the world. It's something that I always bring up with all the guests because they are literally in different parts of at least the country and sometimes the world.
Yeah.
You know, here in Washington State, where I happen to be, the pandemic kind of really took hold, and we were center stage for a long time.
Yeah, we were the first ones here in the U.S. at least.
Yeah, for sure. How have you been holding up during this time, and what have you been kind of doing to keep yourself sane?
You know, I've been holding up. There's definitely good days and bad days. I'm a fellow creative and artist, and I experience emotions a lot. So I've been taking a lot of my emotions and putting them towards new songwriting. Been just processing things that have been going on in my life, and maybe things that I haven't wanted to face in a long time, and really reflecting on that. So I've been doing that as a creative. I've been cooking some new recipes. I'm playing some video games to keep my spirits up in other ways and hobbies that I like to do. So yeah, I mean, I've definitely been making the best of the situation with my 1-bedroom apartment here in Seattle.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's what I think every person is trying to do. They're just doing what they can, to the best of their abilities. And I'm no different. Every day is different. Sometimes I'm feeling like today I feel really good. Maybe another day tomorrow, maybe not as good. And you just have to kind of go with the punches, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. Like, I think a lot of people are saying productivity is great, but also taking time to rest is great too. You know, you don't have to feel forced just because you're home to be doing things, because we're all handling this so differently.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, because that self-care piece was something, even for myself, once I got well during the pandemic, that it was like, oh, I've got all this time. So all these things I kept saying I was going to get to, I should get to it now. And then I just may not feel like it. And I had to realize it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. There's always time.
Yeah. And then this opportunity came to me. So it's like, now I've got all kinds of other things that I can be working on and doing. And life's just strange that way sometimes.
Yeah, things just work out though, always.
All right. So for those that aren't familiar with you, let's dive into your background, since you are from across the country on the East Coast area.
And I'm one of those people.
What can you tell the folks out there that are watching about your background growing up? What was young MARIAH like, and all of that?
So I grew up, like you mentioned, in Pennsylvania. I grew up in a really diverse community. If you're not familiar with the Amish country, it's like a very old-fashioned and simple way of living. There's horse and carriages. People don't use electricity. So that's the town I grew up in. I wasn't Amish, but I did just grow up in that environment with people surrounding me who did practice. And it's just was really interesting. I found the creative community in my town. It wasn't very popular of a thing to be creative, so I would travel to New York City. And then there was also a theater in Lancaster that provided me a lot of great opportunities in musical theater and helped me find my love for the stage and for just expressing myself and having people receive that. So that really helps me just from a young age be mature, kind of know what I want in my life, which I am grateful that I still have the opportunity to do 15 years later, is pursue what I'm passionate about. So yeah, I grew up in a really unique area and I'm grateful for that, but it's been cool to be in Seattle and have kind of a total 180 on that lifestyle.
Okay. So like the last time you went back home to visit, so you still see like buggies and carriages like going down the road and all that kind of thing?
All day, every day. Horse and buggies, the Amish markets, the best pies you will ever have in the world. Like, if you go to Lancaster, you have to have some sort of pie. I will make whoever goes there have a pie.
Well, I like pie, so you won't have to twist my arm.
Okay, good. I'll give you some suggestions for sure.
Awesome. We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
All right. So at some point along your timeline, yeah, back in Pennsylvania, you had a day where I think, if I remember right, you were kind of a bit bored or something, and you got onto this app called Smule, and then things went just went crazy basically. So can you kind of explain to people like what was going on that day, and then
Yeah.
what is Smule for people that don't know what it is?
So Smule is an app. It's a karaoke style singing app where you can go on the app and open a popular song or any song. There's musical theater, jazz, pop, everything, every genre you can imagine. So you'll open one half of that song and then leave blank parts for the other person, and they can go and make it their own with harmonies or do a mashup. They can make it their own in any way that they want. So I was just home. I graduated high school early. I was really bored. I was just in my pajamas and I was like, I feel like singing. Let me just go download a singing app. So I just went to the app store and I downloaded Smule. And immediately I was hooked. I was like, oh, I can just sit on my couch and sing and like interact with other singers and hear awesome new talent. And I've made so many new friends from the app. I've met my boyfriend. I was nominated for an iHeartRadio award. There's just been so many opportunities that like in 2 years, it was at that time, it was like 2 years after being on the app that my life had just kind of changed. And I had kind of left the stage as a teenager with anxiety and depression and put my music on hold just to kind of discover myself more. And Smule definitely had me hit the ground running for what I was meant to do in this world.
Wow, that's again kind of like we were talking earlier, that you just never know where things are going to come from in terms of your life and how it can affect it. In this case, a very positive way.
Yeah, totally.
And it helped, with some things that you were wrestling with and struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
And I can completely relate to that kind of thing, because the fact that I'm doing this right now,
yeah,
2 weeks ago, this was not in the cards. If COVID-19 had not happened, the band would be in Phoenix right now, and I'd be home doing God knows what. Now I'm on a virtual tour, and it was the furthest thing from it wasn't even in my mind 2 weeks ago. I never had that concept. So sometimes, I guess the blessings kind of come along at the most inopportune times.
Exactly. When you least expect it, that's when it's there, and you just got to run with it. And that, that's how great friendships and memories are made.
Yeah. And through you, that's when I first found out what Smule was. And like, what is that? Is that like a weird kind of mule or something?
Yeah, I know. So many people are like, you sing on an app with a mule? I'm like, no.
And I know you're definitely one of the faces of that app, because you've taken over their Instagram account. You've done lots of things that I've seen. So
if I'd go on the app store today, my face would be the one that pops up on the app, which is just like crazy to me to think that like someone else might be in my situation in their pajamas after in COVID-19 bored to be like, oh, this app looks fun, and they'll see my face.
Yeah. If you had to guesstimate just off the top of your head, how many songs do you think you sang with people on that app? Are we talking hundreds, thousands? What?
Oh, okay. So it does actually keep a track of like how many songs that you've sang and then how many times people have sang with you. So collectively, over my 4 years on the app, there's been over 125,000 people singing with me and me singing with people. 125,000 different people, or different like joins or musical recordings created. It just blows my mind.
Over 125,000 in 4 years.
In 4 years, yeah. I know, it's crazy. I mean, I would be on the app every day opening opportunities for people to sing with me, and some of those joins have gotten 10,000 people singing different songs with me on just one song. So just it's crazy. It's seriously crazy.
That's amazing. And that's also, I guess, one of the testaments to technology.
Yeah, right.
Having something like that happen, like I mentioned before, having something like this, an opportunity to talk with you virtually, and that just blows my mind.
And having like a platform that you can be so interactive and like go through and make connections and friendships with the people that are singing with you, it's just really, really cool for me, because that's something I thrive on, is genuine interactions and connecting with people, and making someone's day by commenting on something or bringing up their spirits by giving them a positive feedback is is something I know I would appreciate. So I try and give that to as many people as I can.
See, and I'm so glad you said that, because that's one of many reasons why I invited you to be a guest on the show, because that's how Alice thinks. They're extremely positive people.
Mm-hmm.
They really want everyone to succeed. They want to help wherever they can.
Yeah, I got that vibe so much.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, it's this is really kind of like bringing people together from all these different walks of life that have a common thread, and that's really that common thread.
Mm-hmm, totally.
You're trying to find good people. Well, you found them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we all got to stick together, the good people.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. So I think this is a really great time to bring in Jeffrey to help.
Yeah.
You're going to be debuting a song for everybody out there. You're going to be performing it live. So I'll let you talk about the song, and whenever you're ready, you can go for it.
Perfect. I'm going to call Jeffrey, my boyfriend who I met on the Smule app. He's also a talented musician. And then once he's over, we'll explain the song a little bit.
Perfect.
All right. Hello. This is Jeffrey. He's a really talented songwriter, guitarist, jack of all trades. He's been teaching me a lot of music production in this time.
Nice.
So we're going to be doing Team Player. It's a song I have slated to release at some point this year. We wrote this on a Skype call back when we were having a long distance relationship, like 3 years ago, I think. And it's kind of grown to just be a really fun pop bop anthem of independence. So I hope you like it. I know you say that we are falling in love, but the things that you do don't seem to show it enough now. Why do me dirty, playing your games, always fighting and flirty, and it's all the same, acting all fly, bragging to the guys, trying to steal the show, secrets and lies, sneaking at night, I think you ought to know. Bum, 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 bum. You should be a team player, not just a player. Otherwise, I say goodbye, I'll see you later. Cold-blooded, you shouldn't wonder why I left you with the rearview mirror. Don't act so surprised, it's true. Everything was me and you. Team player, play on. Hey, hey. The more that you do, the less we figure it out. Oh, I'm tired of playing games, just get the out now. Why do me dirty, playing those games, always fighting and flirting, and it's all the same, acting all fly, bragging to the guys, trying to steal the show, secrets and lies, sneaking at night, I think you ought to know. You should be a team player, not just a player, otherwise I say goodbye, I'll see you later. Cold-blooded, you shouldn't wonder why I left you with the rearview mirror. Don't act so surprised, it's true. Everything was me and you. Team player, play on. And I want to be everything you're not. Bum 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 bum. Hey hey, and everything I have is all I got. Hey, 2, 3, you should be a team player, not just a player. Otherwise, I'll say goodbye, I'll see you later. Cold-blooded, you shouldn't wonder why I left you with the rearview mirror. Don't act so surprised, it's true. Everything was me and you. Team player, play on. Boom, boom, we don't bum, bum.
Hey.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, thank you Jeffrey, for bopping with me on that song. Perfect. All right.
That's so, like you said, you wrote or started writing that song like what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago over Skype. It was just like an idea that we had. Jeffrey just kind of picked up a guitar and we were both vibing off of that melody he came up with, threw some lyrics on it, and now it's finally grown to be a complete song. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Is that kind of typically the process of how you guys write songs together?
You know, Jeffrey's really spontaneous in writing. Like he'll just start beatboxing and coming up with a melody. I'm really random. I'll like 2 a.m. I'll wake up and I'll be like, I just had a dream. Is this a song already? No, this is my song. I wrote this right now. And then I'll like record it in my phone and we'll talk about it in the morning. So we have a weird dynamic, but it works.
Well, hey, as long as it works, that's all that matters.
Exactly, exactly.
Wow. So, one thing that I wanted to kind of ask you, I guess it's backtracking a little bit, was that
Yeah.
when you moved out here from the East Coast to the West Coast and the Washington State area, what were your impressions out here when you first got here,
Hmm.
versus now, having been here for a little bit longer?
Yeah, I mean, that's a funny question. Things when I was traveling, I visited here like once a month to visit Jeffrey in a long distance relationship. So things kind of were picture perfect because I could leave my job and my school and come out here and look at the beautiful mountains and everything. And it was just like a postcard. And then once I moved here, things kind of like settled in like, wow, this is really, really different from where I'm from. The pace is way slower. The cuisine is different. The weather's different. It was a really big adaptation for me, especially considering like I'd built my identity in Pennsylvania and like all the people that I was close to and like my favorite coffee shop. So having to redefine myself here was a huge challenge, especially in the music community, like finding who's like the pop scene, who's the rap scene,
Mhm.
so it was a huge challenge. Over time, I don't really think it's changed too much. I've definitely integrated a lot more into the community, which I love. But yeah, it's definitely different, and I'm learning new differences every day, even in just like the way that things are said. Like I have my Lancaster County way of saying certain words, and people are like, "What? What's that word?" I'm like, "Oh, you don't know that? Okay." So culturally, just different.
That makes sense. One of the jobs where I used to work, we had students that were from all over the country, and
Mhm.
talking with them, one of them was from Utah, and she was saying, if I say the word stores up here in Seattle, people think like literally stores, and she
Mhm.
meant like stores down there where they store like their preserves and things that they make every year.
Ah,
And I was
see?
like, oh, I had no idea that's what you were talking about when you were saying
Exactly.
that I have to work on my stores. I'm kind of, what?
Yeah,
Are
and
you are
like
you are you
go
an
ahead.
entrepreneur now or something?
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like back home, a lot of people say like go red up your room. And like if I said that here, people are like, what? And it's like go clean up your room, but like go red up your room. People are like, what are you saying?
Yeah,
So
I've never heard that.
see? Yeah. Or even like people here I've noticed call the big things that carry big trucks that carry like cargo, they call them semis, and I call them tractor trailers or an 18-wheeler. I had no idea what a semi was when I came out here.
Oh, interesting.
So just those
Um,
small things that I'm like, oh, this is weird. It's different.
yeah, I know for the longest time, for me, at least growing up in my household, we always called soda pop pop. And
Hmm.
for some people, it's soda. They're like, why don't you call it soda? It's like, because it's pop.
Yeah, where I'm from, we called it pop. Exactly, exactly.
Wow, okay. So one other thing that I would like to ask is that you've been very, very open about how you've uh, worked through in terms of being positive when you've had negative experiences. You've been
Hmm.
very transparent about that. And so, could you perhaps talk to some people, because especially it's timely right now, what we're going through,
Hmm.
some of the things that you've learned and perhaps are using as tools to keep yourself positive, and how you've been kind of doing some self care, basically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I it's no secret with me. I'm very transparent that I manage anxiety and depression, and as many creatives do, many people do in this world, and especially now in this time, it's been really challenging. I think, on like a really good like incline before all of this, and then once it hit, all the things that I was like looking forward to and feeling that incline made me go woo. And it was really really challenging to go back to my core and like what makes me happy, what brings me self-care. So I got passionate again in things that I enjoy, like cooking or video games, and made myself feel like it's okay to have down days. I don't want to feel like I'm obligated just because I see people on Instagram working out every day or doing this or that, that I should be obligated to do that too, because I'm my own person. And I've really strengthened a lot of relationships with people that before quarantine were strong, but they're a big part of my community as just a human, and really aid me in working through difficult things or being kind of a sounding board. So I think it's really important to just surround yourself, maybe not physically, but emotionally, with people that you can trust and that you can open up to. I know it's hard to open up about things and like you're not forced to, but just letting things out, whether that's creatively on paper to another person, speaks so much, because living in your head is not going to get you anywhere, and it's not going to change anything. It's just going to make you unravel. So I just think having a good community and support system emotionally with people, and finding yourself in hobbies and things that let you just forget about things for a little are big things that help me as an artist and as a person.
Wow, wise words. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of newer people out there that maybe thought that things were fairly good for themselves, and then the pandemic hit, and they're kind of wondering and struggling with, why am I feeling this way? And they don't know what to do, versus someone who is already managing those things pre-pandemic. They kind of already have that toolbox, and they kind of know what they can pull from.
Exactly.
And so it's just kind of letting people out there know that you're definitely not alone.
I mean, and 2020 has been a challenge by far. I mean, even without COVID-19, I think this would have been the most difficult year of my life, with different things going on behind the scenes, personally, professionally, with my health. Like, things have just been insane. So I'm really excited to get through this year and to look back on it and be like, I did that. So yeah, I'm excited to move on to better things in life.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, hopefully soon. And even though there might not be a back to normal, whatever new normal is, I'm looking forward to it.
I remember I was covering a show on New Year's Eve here in Seattle. And for those watching this in other parts of the world, the Space Needle here, which is very iconic, there's usually fireworks that go off from the Space Needle on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. And so when I came out from the show, which was like maybe at 1 a.m. on New Year's Day morning, I was listening to the radio as I was driving home, and they were saying, we might be doing the fireworks at 2 a.m. And I was like, what are you talking about? What? What happened to the fireworks? Yeah. And then I found out it was so windy that it wasn't safe for them to do them. And then eventually they didn't do them at all because it wasn't safe at 2 a.m. And it's kind of like, that was almost like an omen.
Yeah, now that you mention it, that's so true. That is so true.
No fireworks. And guess what else is coming?
Yeah. Welcome to 2020, everyone.
No,
I see posts all the time. It's like, welcome to the next level of Jumanji, like murder hornets. It's like, what's going to be next month? I'm so scared.
Yeah, I saw something similar about I just heard thunder, or maybe that's Godzilla coming.
Yeah. I mean, who knows nowadays?
Gosh. So, hey, let's talk about, so you've been working, obviously, you just played an amazing song.
Thank you.
Do you have any kind of timeline? Are you recording things and kind of, waiting, down the road to release them? Or you have a strict plan of, hey, that single's coming out sometime in the summer? What's going on in the future here?
I think that's all TBD. I'm still working out scheduling things, especially with not being able to travel to certain studios at this time. So I don't have like set dates. I have goals. But if you follow me on my social media at MARIAH BELGROD everywhere, you'll be able to hear. I'm very quick and excited to announce whenever things are solidified on dates. But I definitely am writing. I'm definitely producing content weekly on my YouTube channel with covers, and I plan to record some instrumentals of my own writings at home in my home studio, which is really cool to have that opportunity. So yeah, it's all TBD, but there definitely is going to be some announcements coming in the near future.
Okay. And speaking of which, like you mentioned, you have new content. If you go to your YouTube channel, you've been releasing a cover song pretty much once a week.
And so can
you speak to at least the most recent ones that you've done, like the last two?
Yeah, the last one I did was Know Your Worth by Khalid. It was a really positive cover song for me. There's like a part that's like, gotta keep your head up. And that just really is my anthem right now. Gotta keep my head up. And then I did another song. It was like a moody pop cover by Miss Charlotte Lawrence, who is my inspiration in the pop world, called Why Do You Love Me? It's really sassy, and I had a lot of fun recording that one. And I actually did a lot of the vocal production on that one. So it's been cool to hamper new skills.
Okay. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes left. I want to talk about when I first met you, you were actually performing. And so when you're performing music on stage, are you somebody that just, loves it? Are you kind of get nerves, which is kind of normal? Stage fright, none of that? Where are you on that spectrum when you perform live?
It's funny, in like a small audience, when I can see people's faces, I am so nervous because I can feel people judging me, or like I'm just so in my head about it. But if I can't see anyone's faces, like when I was an actress and I was younger and the lights were so bright and you couldn't see anyone, I was just like, oh, who cares? I'm just here to be me. So a small audience, I'm really nervous. Large audience, I'm like, whatever. If I mess up, I mess up. Which is kind of contradicting, but oh well, that's me.
Well, I think it makes sense because when I was playing music around in my duo, you're right in front of people. I mean, and a lot of the times it's people that I know, which
Staring at
actually,
you.
yeah, in some ways makes it worse
Exactly.
instead of playing in front of strangers.
You have to talk to them later.
Yeah, or they're texting you things. I that one song. I don't know about that one song. How come you
Everyone's
didn't play?
critic.
Yeah, how come you didn't play that one song you played, a month ago? I was like, oh my gosh, give me a break.
You want to schedule my set list for me? Go ahead.
Yeah, or even better, why don't you just get up there and play for me? I'll just
Right?
be over here hanging out.
I'll text you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I really want to thank you for taking the time. I think you're an amazing
Absolutely.
person, amazing
Thank you.
talent. There's so many wonderful things that I know are going to be coming in your future.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm a pretty good, strong judge of character and talent, and you've got it in just bucket loads of it. So,
Thank you so much.
yes, I hope
I'm really
everybody else.
grateful for your friendship and for having me, and I just really appreciate all of this.
Well, I appreciate you, and hope everybody out there enjoyed hearing from MARIAH BELGROD, and check her out all across all social media platforms. Get on Smule. Maybe you can get a chance to sing with her.
Yeah, let's
And
see.
MARIAH, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, Alice, for having me. All right.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.